Why did I get married? I think, number one, I'm in love with a guy. And it was like, it's a good idea to spend the rest of my life with you. Yeah, but I think that was a big motivation. I think I've said it even in our podcast before that for me, getting married was not really about getting married. It was about the who I was getting married to. And so when I found the person I felt like we align value-wise, I really enjoy your company and I think we could build something away from the podcast, like we could build a life together, then it became a no-brainer for me. Yeah.
But as a young woman, was marriage something you wanted to do? Or you never thought of it? It was just a passive, this is what people do as adults, but no active plans. You have wedding gown images and imagination.
No, I think my priority was the guy. So I built my mind around the kind of guy I wanted. And so I remember saying that if for nothing else, like if I get to an age and I haven't found that guy, I wouldn't like beat myself up because of it, because it's more important who you get married to than the fact that you get married. And I think it's what I try to encourage as many young girls as possible. Don't focus on like getting married. It's beautiful, think about it, but focus on who you're getting married to. Because it's like, I think I read somewhere, and I'm not quoting it verbatim, it's like the person that you get married to can either kill you or give you like the best life possible. Yeah.
So what are the things that you saw in him that made you say I was going to do this?
Oh, sweet man. I think his values, we were so aligned. We met when I was 18. And for context, I'm in my 30s right now. So we met when I was 18.
Almost 2 decades.
Exactly. But we didn't start dating until after university. So I think the first time we met, I asked him, like, what would be your measure of success for you? And I don't know, we were just friends, like, as you're bantering as friends. And for him, it was be like, when I have a happy family. And I knew for a fact. I was like, but where's the money? But like, he was like, he was like, when I have a happy family. And I think, as I've told you from my childhood, I really value family. And I think for me, I held on to that, even through our phases as friends and everything. And I think he's also a guy who is committed, he's loyal, which is very difficult to find in this day and age, and a principled man, which I really value. Yeah, and he's good looking.
That is true.
Yeah.
Why did you want to have kids?
That's a very good question. I think I've always, my measure of success, just like my husband, has been family. So I think in my mind, I knew I wanted to have a kid because I wanted that. Whatever I have been brought up with, I wanted to have sort of like something to pass it down, an extension of me. And like I didn't understand the weight of that until you have a baby. And then you realize that everything else can be doom and gloom. But when you see this boy, everything just, yeah.
Did you worry about the fact that at the beginning the two of you were essentially in the same industry?
It was a problem when we were dating.
Right.
And I think because he was so gifted in the industry, I, in my own right, I also am. And so it became, you know how social media couples are. And you start to feel like I really want this to work. And I don't want the noise of people to make it not work. So it became a fear of mine that I feel like I need to guard this. So when we were dating, we only did videos here and there. But then after we got married, that's when I feel, okay, fine, maybe we've cemented this a little bit. But yeah, it was a problem. It still kind of is right now at the back of my mind because you want to protect it. And social media is a very beautiful space, but you also get those one or two people who kind of.
I mean, there are a number of people that would even disagree with you that it's a beautiful space. In the first place.
Imagine, and you're like.
Is it just a fear, or have there been things that you've seen that you're like, I want to protect my marriage from this?
100%. It happened this past weekend.
Right, what happened?
So it was a news blog. And the conversation was around, I think someone sent it to me. It was a conversation around that I don't allow Ben to be man enough in the home.
That's what the blogger was saying.
And this was feedback. No. I'm not, no, I don't even blame the blogger because he's reporting what people are sending him. So he's just like a news outlet.
So these are people you know?
No.
Right.
So it's just like social media. So he's like sort of like collecting stories or around different social media.
So what makes him think that?
I think maybe the conversations that we have on the podcast. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by you don't blame him? He has a responsibility, or the responsibility to know what he's talking about.
And you would think that 4 years down the line I would have thick skin to handle it. I was like, yes. Babe, this is it. I'm done with the podcasting. I cannot handle it. Yes. So I think those are some of my fears still. And then now you have a baby, and then you realize you want them to grow. We want him to grow in a healthy home environment. Yeah. And so you're like, is social media really the way to go? I get you. I mean, there's no rule book for it. People do it pretty well, and I guess you learn as you go. Yeah.
But I remember 4 years, I used to talk about my relationships very openly because I just thought, we're trying to.
Yeah, it's like.
And I think in 2020, somebody talked about my relationship in a negative context, a brutally negative context.
Oh, my Lord.
And I just shut down.
Oh.
I'm like, that's the last you are going to hear
about who I'm dating.
But I even know that also, but I know that the examples of people who just manage it well.
Yeah.
So it's just really how you choose to approach it.
Yeah, I think you think you've overcome, because I remember I got such kind of conversations in season 1. For context, we're in season 8. In season 1.
Right. Also from season 1.
It's been there on and off. Yes. And I'll have to say that the positives outweigh the negatives 100%. But you won't miss maybe 1 or 2. And I have a feeling it's fellow women who come at you and it's like subtle jabs at maybe how you show up as a wife, how you show up as a mother.
Yeah, we shared about a miscarriage.
2023.
2023, yes, so it was the year before. Yes.
Tough times.
Yeah.
And they lasted. Medically, it was just, it happens according to the doctor.
Yes,
there was nothing. Medically, there was nothing. They could pinpoint it to. Actually, our doctor at that time said 1 in 3 women.
Yes, I just discovered that data today from Cambodia.
Exactly. 1 in 3 women experience a miscarriage. So it's a statistic that could happen to anyone.
So how old was the baby?
8 weeks. We were at our 8 weeks, what is it called? Thingy. Doctor's visit,
Yes.
And so that's when you check viability. Around the same time, you check they call it the pregnancy viability. So whether the heart is beating. And so in our case, there was no heartbeat.
Oh, right. So you didn't have any signs?
0.
Until you went for the check?
No bleeding. Like, it was a normal day. I was like, let's go hear what the baby. And then it turned out the way it did,
So you are not expecting it, and the doctor just turns to you and says...
In my mind, miscarriages were not, like, you hear about them, but you don't think it could happen to me. Yeah. So in a way, I was just going for a regular doctor's visit.
Yes.
And when we went in to see the sonographer, he was like, there's no heartbeat here.
Did you understand what he meant immediately? Because sometimes our minds
process weirdly.
Just like, I'm not even hearing what you're saying, or did you just take it in?
So I remember I was with a friend of mine. I was with my husband and a couple of friends of mine. Right. We were all so excited, like we're going to hear the baby's heartbeat. And then, so one of my friends has had a baby before, so she's familiar with this kind of environment. Right. So she knew what to look out for. I didn't know. So she knew you're supposed to hear the ta, ta of the heartbeat. So she didn't hear it, so an alarm went off in her mind. My husband and I were green. So the sonographer was like, this is not a viable pregnancy. So I'm like, what does that even mean? So he was like, there's no heartbeat. Yeah. It changed us completely.
How so?
Our therapist puts it so well that you've never met a person. But there was a person inside of me. Yes. And then you lose that person. Yes. How do you even start to grieve that? And then you had made all these plans. We were moving houses. We had our hospital. I had my hospital bag packed. But that changes you.
For it, I think it's called ambiguous loss. You are mourning something you can't really, because you never really had it, but then you had it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, people didn't know you were pregnant, and then now like it was so interesting. And then we were on tour because we do a bunch of tours around the same time.
Yes.
And so you have to keep showing up because there are commitments that you had made. And you can't just, we didn't feel like it was time to start explaining that we were pregnant and then now we're not. And then it's just, so you soldier on through tours, you're meeting campus students. And then I remember the last, because we were doing 4 campuses across, I think 2 months. And you're doing them across Kenya. So it's not just in Nairobi. I remember the last one, it was maybe 3 hours from here, or 4 hours. I remember on the way back home, I just cried. And I was like, I've been strong this whole entire time just for this tour. And now it's time to face reality. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
We're going to point to like 2 episodes that perfectly capture what you're trying to do. Which ones would you point to?
I think I would choose a season, and I would choose season 6.
Right.
And that was the season after we got the baby.
Right.
Because it was so honest
Yes.
and raw that you've alluded to those moments where you're like, we don't know what we're doing, we're not sleeping, we miss each other, we miss the Ben and Wanjiru of season 1, who are just the 2 of us. But now we are the 2 of us still, but it's so layered and so different. So I think that was the season that stands out the most. And I think it resonated with people a lot.
Yeah, because you were open, you were raw, it was real.
It was real. It was like my body, my husband was like, I really do miss you. I miss my wife. It was really on it. To a fault. And I'm like, why did we share all of that? But it had to happen.
Did you have, before you started, any Kenyan role models for the kind of content you wanted to do? Or any Kenyan, any African?
I don't think anyone comes to mind.
Yeah.
I don't even think like globally, because remember we're a couple, number one. Right. So I don't know how many couples, first of all, live their life so publicly, that's so true. Doing a podcast together. So we are kind of just charting the path for ourselves, figuring out what do we want to share, what do we not want to share. I don't know if I've seen a couple that live so publicly the way we do and still keep it
together.
Your public private. Yeah.
What's the one thing you would want to have done?
And I don't know how I'll measure this, but I want to hear that Joyride played an integral part in shaping positive relationship stories. I get so touched when I meet a couple. There's a couple I'll give you an example of that told me that the husband, they were dating then, and he never used to be like a vulnerable person, an open person. But one day their girlfriend then, put him on to the Joyride podcast. And from that, they were able to have serious conversations, and their relationship evolved to now like a marriage where they can watch the podcast and have honest conversations. So those kinds of stories, they kind of remind you that what you're doing has real tangible impact, which is beautiful to see because relationships are such an integral part of us in our society. So to hear that, to get the responsibility or the role to play a part in shaping it positively, I would love that. I would love that.
I think you're already doing that.
Thank you.
And there's more and more. ChatGPT setting.
I
want to make a personal request to you. Many of you watch, like, comment, but you don't subscribe. Now, subscription matters as you subscribe and as you engage. So I am making a personal request. Don't just watch and leave. Please click the subscribe button. It matters to me.